Well, Rob, a couple of days on from the defeat down at Watford, I'm sure you'll look back at it a little bit. How do you reflect on that defeat?
Yeah, a bit like what I said after, it felt like a strange game. And we did, when I look at it back, we got into a lot of good areas and didn't make the most of it. And the goals are really, really disappointing. I know they're big moments because that's what you win and lose the game with the goals. But it was the sort of manner of it. We're in a brilliant position for the first goal to maybe go one up ourselves. But some of our positioning wasn't quite right in other areas. And then on that transition, as soon as we lose it, which is their big strength, we don't quite deal with it. So the first goal was important. Those moments were really frustrating. And like I said, we got into good areas and didn't make the most of it. And even right towards the end, there's some quite big chances. Sanji had one, David had a couple, and didn't take it. So look, frustrating to lose the game. You can dissect the life out of it. You can, and you can look at every single second of it and go over of it. And he could be moved there, and he could do this. Bottom line, we've got to be better in a couple of areas at the top end. We have. And then for probably the first time this season, we've not quite defended in one or two moments as well as we have done. So we've had a good couple of days able to go through that yesterday with the lads. Good recovery day, really good meeting where I think it was productive to show some bits where we can improve. Able to do a little bit of work fairly lightly, but on the out there on the grass with it today, and hopefully then we can put some of that into practice.
Yeah, you mentioned that it's the first time this season that you've really conceded that amount of goals in the league. How have the players reacted since the defeat? Has it been a bit of a determination there to bounce back?
We want to see that. There has been a good reaction mentality-wise, and I see the attitude and around the place and speaking to the lads, and that's what there needs to be. We weren't getting carved open, and then the third goal almost makes it look worse. It shouldn't have been a goal. But it sort of seals it as well, and then just makes it look a whole lot worse than actually what it was.
And you talked a little bit afterwards about the details and how you felt your players maybe got a few details a little bit wrong with stuff you'd worked on, things like that. Do you think they'll learn from that, given kind of how big you have been on details in the opening 10 games or so?
And again, like I said yesterday, the meeting that we had was I think productive, and hopefully it lands. Like I said, we got in some very good areas. The lads are a really honest group, and they're always trying to do what's right, and we're going to make some mistakes at times. But what we've just done is been really get some real clarity there. Go, no, we have to have this in this situation. We have to have these people in these areas in these situations. So hopefully they will do. The coachable, they'll take that on board, and look, let's see. And it's a really difficult game this tomorrow, but we'll have to go and try and put that into practice.
I know a frustration of yours afterwards and from fans who got in touch with ourselves was the forward areas and maybe just on the odd occasion maybe not taking that risk. Are you confident that things are building amongst those attacking roles though?
Again, that was a big area of the meeting again yesterday, so I'm repeating myself, but this job is about repeating and then improving and then practicing it out there and then reevaluating it again, and it's going to take some time. Like I said, we created some really big moments late on, some big chances, but we got into a lot of good areas, especially in the first half, and that was the stuff that we really sort of focused on yesterday, because on reflection and the stuff I said after the game where we could have maybe taken a shot there or crossed it there was only a couple of moments of that. Mainly it was positioning and having the right numbers in the right areas. That was probably a bigger area of focus.
Is it maybe a bit of a confidence thing with your
No, I've got asked that before. It's completely not that. We've been doing well and lads have been performing well as well. It's not a confidence thing at all.
One of your former clubs in Wolves has sacked their manager over the weekend. I know we shouldn't always listen to the bookies, but you're up near the top of the betting lists. Just wondered what your thoughts are to be linked so strongly with a job like that.
Yeah, I mean, I was told by my daughter yesterday, so that probably tells you where they're at. I can understand it, my links to the club, but look, my full focus is on this job here, which is a brilliant job, and trying to turn things around from the weekend in a really big game against Leicester.
I suppose something like that, though, is a bit of a compliment for the work that you and the players have done so far, the fact you're linked with a Premier League job.
Again, it's all speculation stuff. It's hard for me to then comment about anything else other than Middlesbrough Football Club, which is where my focus is. We've done a decent job so far. That's all I care about, is trying to win tomorrow.
Yeah, back in action against Leicester. They were obviously one of the sides relegated from the Premier League. What have you made of them so far?
They've got really, really good players, especially for this level. They play a really good way. They've been unlucky. I've said this a few times this year. They've created big chances, not quite taken, and been punished at times as well in games where they've dominated. They do have a lot of the ball. They've got a really clear way of playing. And they've got some very good individuals once they've sort of get into the wide areas, especially on that top end of the pitch. So we're going to have to be really disciplined, really good without the ball, and then very good when we want the ball back, and then when we've got it as well to try and have control as well in moments, because they can dominate a game, they can push you back, and then they can build confidence and momentum from there as well. But obviously of late, maybe some of the results haven't gone the way they would have wanted, and so it's actually a really interesting game for us, but a very difficult one.
You mentioned some of the individuals there. There's a lot of quality in that squad. Are you surprised to see them maybe struggling a little bit, or is it just a case of that's how strong the Championship is?
The Championship is, we've seen it. You drop a little bit, or you make one or two mistakes, and you can get punished, and anyone can lose, and everyone will lose. Games. This league's really tight, I think, from top to bottom, and that's why consistency is really important, and doing the basics well is really important. It does surprise me that they've, not picked up as many results maybe as well, only because their performances have been good. That's why I'm trying to compliment them there. You know what I mean? It does, but it just shows the fine margins in games, and teams are happier to maybe have a lot less of the ball and hit with counter attacks, and it's a big part of the game. We got done with that ourselves on the weekend.
I'm confident that you will see a reaction. Obviously, the character of your side's being complimented on a number of occasions this season. Confident that will come to the fore?
We are, yeah. The one thing you can never guarantee is a result, but I'm confident we'll see a good performance and a really good reaction in terms of the running, the basics and effort, and hopefully the quality is there as well.
And 2,000 Borough fans making the trip on a Tuesday night in November. It's pretty special, isn't it?
Very special. Very, 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 very lucky to have this kind of support. And obviously we need to try and reward that as well.
And just finally, on injuries, obviously Dale Fry looked like picked up a bit of a knock towards the end.
We've got a couple of doubts. We've not named the team yet today. We'll wait till tomorrow. We've got a couple that took some knocks, and we'll see. We'll assess. We'll take a couple of extra bodies with us down, and we'll see where we're at. See where we're at tomorrow.
Thank you very much. Good luck.
Thank you. Tom? Just a couple from me, Rob. First of all, following that defeat at the weekend, is there a balance to be struck between kind of drawing a line under it and learning from?
Yeah, exactly. It's not, it's not the end of the world. We lost the game of football. We've got to take it and then learn and be better. That's it. You're right. So we try and review it as we always do with the lads. Take the bits that we need to be better and learn and try and improve, which we've done. And it wasn't all bad. The result makes it look, I think, worse than it was. Like I said, it was a strange game. It wasn't a 3-0 game, but that's the fact of the matter. It was, and so yeah, we don't draw a line under it, but we have to then move forward and realise, okay, well, we've done some good things, and go into this game with some confidence and try and bounce back.
And in your experience, you said bouncing back there, having another fixture kind of almost straight off the back of it is a great opportunity to do.
Yeah, it's good because it gave us a focus straight away on the coach on the way back to review, but also be looking ahead at Leicester as well. So I was able to do quite a lot of work on the coach back on the night, and along with the staff to you can write, okay, I can almost park that now because I know why what's happened. And we can show that tomorrow, and then we can really get focused on what's coming up next as well. Gives you something to look forward to straight away.
Thanks, Rob.
Thank you. How much of a test of character can this one be, the Leicester game, for the lads to bounce back?
Forget the result almost on Saturday. This is a test anyway. Just going here. It's a big football club with high expectations, and I know they've had a couple of results that haven't gone their way, but like I said before, they are good with a lot of good individuals, well coached by Marty. So this was always going to be a test anyway. It's good this in a way because I'm experiencing it for almost this for we're at a big football club here, so you lose a game and then all of a sudden there's some questions being asked and you've got to be able to deal with it, and we've got to be able to deal with that because there's high expectations at this big club. So what everyone would like to see, what we all want to see, is a really good reaction to that. And when, you have tough moments in life, or especially in football, you get back up and work really hard to try and put things right. That's what we're going to try and do.
And the layman might look at it and think they're not having a great time at the moment, results are not going right for them, but a 2-0 defeat at the weekend at home, how much of a wounded animal could they be?
Well, yeah, they could be, you're right, and they'll obviously want to put that right. It was a game that was quite strange because they dominated large periods. They did create some big opportunities, and then but credit to Blackburn, they did really, really well and won the game, with ruthless when they had those chances. But it on another day it could have been very different as well. So they're going to want to put things right. We've got to expect the best of them, which we always prepare for. And it'd be difficult. But that being said, we're a good match for everyone, and when we're right at it, we'll make it difficult for them as well.
And just going back to the Wolves speculation, are you able to draw a line under it and just say not interested?
Well, like I say, it's all speculation anyway. So I never get drawn on stuff that's all hypothetical, and I don't want to get drawn on that. And I love being Middlesbrough manager, and that's all I want to think about, or head coach, I should say, giving myself a promotion or something there. I don't know. I just want to talk about us and Leicester. That's it.
Thank you.
I'm just going to ask one more on that. I'm sorry, Rob. I
Right.
know.
Last one on it, yeah.
Last one on it. I think fans at this club, Chris Wilder, when he was manager, he was heavily linked with Burnley, and it lingered on. And rightly or wrongly, I think a lot of fans felt that really disrupted a season. And so I think when all of this broke yesterday, the worry from the fans is, Christ, here we go again. Are you confident that
Like I said,
it won't disrupt what you're doing, what the players are doing at all?
all I can say is I've not given it a single thought, because my focus is just on this. We were in yesterday. I didn't get back into that. I was in here at 7:30 yesterday on a Sunday, and got home at 4:30 after doing a full day on Leicester. We had a really good recovery day with the boys, and like I said, a really good, productive, meeting with them. And then today, all the focus has just been on what's coming next. I can't talk about anything else. It's just all the stuff that my daughter's telling me about,
Let's talk about Leicester then. Like you say, I think prior to the season, rightly or wrongly, people would have thought they would be higher up the league. They certainly would have thought that was Southampton, who obviously just sat their manager. Ipswich seemed to be finding form. Without dredging up what might be bad memories for you, but obviously you know what it's like to have a team that have dropped into the Championship and to try and turn a ship around. I know each club will be different, but it's not easy, is it?
No, it's not easy. It's very difficult, and again, every club is different. So I can't speculate on what's going on there or anything else. What I will say, again, I'll repeat it, is their performances have been very good. Yeah. Now, I know from the outside looking in, people just look at results, and and look, football is about results in the end. That's all people care about, and that's fine. But then in our job, you have to try and find a way to get results, so you have to look at the performance as well. And the performances have been good. Yeah. They're not getting what maybe they've deserved. But it is difficult, because you do have disappointment, you do have change, there's a team that's been maybe used to losing more games than winning, and trying to change that is hard, and you're seeing it this season again for whatever reason. I don't know what reasons they are. It is challenging, and this league is pretty ruthless. People don't really care about reputation, and they everyone will feel that they can go into every game and win it. It's very hard. It is very hard, and momentum is a thing, but it's hard to put your finger on it both ways. Yeah. How you keep it when you've got it, and then trying to turn it around when you haven't. It's like confidence. It's a thing, but it's hard to just go, right, be confident. Yeah. You can't just do that sometimes, or So it can be a challenge for them. But they're a big club. They've got high expectations, and good players. So there's no doubt at any moment it can click.
And then when we talk about yourselves coming off the back of Saturday, you rightly say you analyse it, you do this, but the Championship is a league where that's going to happen, really. I mean, look at, Coventry seem to be running away with everything, and then they kind of hit a brick wall on Saturday. So, as a manager, how do you've got to stay on a level with that, haven't you?
it's a bit like the balance we talked about before. There'll be points you want to get across, but actually there could well be 3 or 4 times this season where you're going to be coming off the back of a...
I think I've said this before, even after wins. This season, and even teams that are successful, you might play really well 15 times, not bad 15 times, and maybe very average. And then you've got to, when you're not playing great or you might be a bit average, if you can pick up the points in those ones, then that's obviously really important. It's a winter league. The weather and the pitches and all things like that sort of change. It's not always going to be pretty. It can be a bit of a war of attrition at times, and you've got to find a way to come out on the right end of a result. And so we weren't at our best on the weekend, certainly not, but we weren't at our worst either. But it was one of those days where we didn't make it happen there, and we got punished at the other end. So I'm not going to overthink it. We've lost the game of football. I care. It matters. It hurts. It's rubbish. I feel crap on the bus on the way back. But then you've got to go, hang on, well, what does everyone expect now? You've got to react. So, right, let's look at it, learn, and then try and get on to the next one.
Just sticking with that kind of theme of balance after the defeat, Rob. I mean, obviously, as you say, the defeat hurts, but it's just the second of the season. You're in a healthy position in the table. You've given yourself effectively a really good platform at the start of the season. Is that the sense now of let's not let this slip. Let's kick on from here? And
it hasn't been a panic stations, lads. This is no. We must try and fix these things. I've been really explicit and tried to go right. Let's take this from this meeting right now. Which is important to do. Let's have some clarity from it. But then, it wasn't an effort thing. The running was there. It was just some positioning was wrong. Some little fundamentals were wrong. But it's not wholesale stuff. So no, it's not. It's not like a panic sort of thing. It's okay. Realise what we did. Move on from it. Focus on the next thing, which is a really big game tomorrow.
You spoke about the forwards. It's not a confidence thing, you said. I mean, when you're having these meetings, I know there is some big characters within that forward line, and we spoke before about players taking kind of responsibility for themselves. What kind of vibes are you getting from them as players, as forward?
Yeah, and we've said, look, lads, you've got to be able to jump out and be the one that's like, I'm going to do it, I'm going to play, I want to play every week, and so it's on all of us. I've got to try and find that right bit, and you want everyone to then come on, just show us and be in the right position, and then take that moment when it comes. And so, but that'll happen. If we weren't getting into good areas, if we weren't creating some chances, I'd be slightly worried, because then there's a bit more of a bigger underlying problem. But like I said, we got into a lot of good areas the other day that we were able to show the lads and say, look, if we'd have done that, and if we'd have been in these, we could have been better. So. Confidence is not a thing, but I think the lads also accept that there's more to come.
Just finally, we mentioned after the game the positive of Riley getting on the pitch in 20 minutes. I appreciate everything he's gone through in the last 2 years. It might not be a case of just throw him straight in, but how close is he to being able to potentially start games? Yeah,
I think we've got to be careful with it, because it was 20 minutes, and obviously first 20 since pre-season Bradford, so a long time. So I think everyone just needs to be patient with him, but it's great that everyone's excited to see him back, and we are really, really happy to have him back as well, because he's a really important player for us. Phenomenal attitude, brilliant trainer, drives things, leader. It's all the stuff that we want. Let's just make sure he stays back and he's with us, and I think that's important for me to say now. So be patient on it, but he'll come in here now and go, no, I'm ready, and I'm ready to do back to back and play all the time, which is great. We've got some good decisions to make.
Just one from me. Right, how important is it not only to put on to get the points, but put on a performance in these 2 games before the international window, just to keep, show the rest of the league that Middlesbrough are up the top and they're here to stay?
But like I was just saying before, I don't know whether you caught that bit. The performance we want, and that's what we're always looking for, because it gives us the best chance to try and get a result as well. But we're not always going to be able to get that. Of course, we want it, and so it is important, because it gives you the best chance to get wins from these 2 games. So yeah, that side of it's important. It's important we do the basics, the fundamentals, and all, and gives us an opportunity to be in games to try and win them, because they're probably going to be tight games. Just that's just the championship. But we'll, of course, we want to try and win, and we want to try and win playing well. You know, that's everyone's ultimate goal, and that's really what we want to do, and we're capable of that. We've seen it in spells this season. We want to see it consistently.
Rob, have you got anything?
At the weekend, the supporters stayed behind the team.
Oh, amazing!
Right through. Were the players aware of that, and how much does that help going into Leicester?
Well, the lads were aware of it, of course, because that's why we went over afterwards and said, to say thank you. And I said that after the game, they were incredible. Singing in the rain, and when the team is losing, and then 10 minutes to go, and we're still trying. Of course, we are, but 3-0 down. Then it looks difficult. So for them to do that was brilliant, and we need to try and reward that. So a huge thank you to them for that. It was pretty special. Harry was saying he's never seen that before. 3-0 down away from home, and then the supporters saying that I'm very, very aware that we've got a special fan base here that will do that. It's not normal. That's not normal. So huge thank you to them for that.